Have your tastes changed since you've cut carbs or gone keto? Ours certainly have. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the foods that we would have never eaten before we went low carb and keto and now make up kind of a regular part of our diet.
All right, so of these foods, I think the one that is the biggest taste change for me is sauerkraut. We have it in a bag here. We like to go to farmers markets and get it. Before our video, we had to go grab this at the grocery store. But the thing with sauerkraut, you know, I'm a Pennsylvania Dutch girl, right? So we grew up in central Pennsylvania, still live here. And this is a tradition for Pennsylvania Dutch, pork and sauerkraut. In fact, when I brought you back here from Nebraska, you were kind of shocked by the yearly tradition we have of pork and sauerkraut on New Year's Day.
Right. It's supposed to be for good luck. You have pork and sauerkraut on New Year's. And it has something, it's been explained to me, something about pigs rooting backwards and something else. And I don't.
It was something like that. It's supposed to be good luck.
Yeah. I never care for sauerkraut. So if we would go out and have a New Year's Day dinner, I would always opt to have lasagna or something.
Yeah. Well, but we would always get like off of someone's plate, just like one little strand of sauerkraut, because that's all we could stomach.
Yeah.
And now we have this on a very regular basis. It's one of our favorite meals.
Yeah, I can't say that having it or not having it before ever changed my luck, but it is, you know, this is something that that I've come to really enjoy, and you make a very good sausage and sauerkraut casserole. It's delicious. In fact, I think we stumbled upon a kind of a way to make this because we were at a German place at one time, and they kind of fried it up, right?
We were.
Yeah, up in State College, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is definitely a staple. We liked having that casserole.
Yep. All right, another thing that we never ate before we went low carb and keto. And I will say, you know, I follow a low carb diet, you follow a keto diet. And if you want to know why that is, we've explained it in a different video, we'll point it to you. But regardless, we both eat avocados now on a regular basis. In fact, I eat them daily, but I eat about a half an avocado a day on my daily salad. And if you know my 0-1-2-3 strategy, that is one of my 4 daily habits for jump-starting your weight loss. So if you want the strategy, we'll point to it. But I love them, and it is part of what makes my daily salad enjoyable. Right.
And when I have a salad, I definitely put an avocado on. I like having a whole avocado if we have a whole avocado available. I remember growing up when I was younger, and my dad would make homemade guacamole. And I don't think I ever even took a taste of it because, you know, it's this creamy green stuff. I'm like, who wants to eat creamy green stuff, right? And it wasn't until, you know, just a few years ago when we kind of started going keto that I realized how good these things are.
Yeah.
And you can put them in a lot of things. And we also, there's a restaurant that we'll go out to occasionally, and we'll get fajitas, and they've got shrimp and chicken and pork. Now we don't have the tortillas that come with them, but I kind of eat them in a salad, and I always get extra guacamole because I love having the guacamole on there now.
Yeah. All right, next food that we eat now that we would have never touched before. In fact, we've been married, 27 years now? Did we eat these at all for our first 25 years of marriage?
I tried one once.
Yeah. Well, we love Brussels sprouts now. Now, this is a frozen bag because that's what I had available in the house. We take fresh Brussels sprouts and mix them with pieces of bacon, stick it in the oven. It is a great side dish. Why? Because of the fat.
Right.
And that was what was always missing from vegetables. And it's one of the great advantages of being low carb or keto is that vegetables, well, you add fat to them now, which enhances the flavor immensely and also enhances the ability for your body to absorb the fat-soluble vitamins.
Right. And we're talking with these, we use bacon fat, but you know, just about any vegetable, you can use bacon fat or you can use butter. And that really, you know, and as I mentioned, I think I tried one of these like 10 years ago or something. I had an opportunity and I was like, who would eat these?
Right.
They are so bitter.
Yeah.
And you know, I know that we're halfway through this. I sound like I was a terribly picky eater because I didn't eat any of this stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
well, I was a picky eater too, but I would eat sugar.
Well, that's true, yeah.
I would eat anything
That was
with
my
sugar
pick.
on it.
Yeah, that was our pick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, and we'll get to that. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but let's go in order here. So heavy cream, I'll tell you what, I would have never touched heavy cream before turning to a low carb diet. In fact, skim milk was what I would always choose.
Yep.
Skim milk on cereal, right? The ultimate high carb, low fat breakfast.
That was the healthy way to eat back then.
Yeah.
That's what we were told. Yeah, and skim milk, I mean, I use it in my coffee on a daily basis, heavy cream I use in my coffee on a daily basis now. When I was younger days and working different places and there was coffee available, I would always have like the non-dairy creamer was,
Yeah.
and a lot of times there was, even some flavors you could get,
Oh, yeah.
French vanilla or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Of course, those things were loaded with sugar.
Yeah.
But back then, you didn't want to even set foot close to it. Full fat dairy was
Yeah.
like horrible, right?
Right.
Now it's just a daily thing.
Yeah. Now I still don't drink it in my coffee. I don't go out of my way to add heavy cream, but I certainly include it in some recipes like quiche and things like that. I'll utilize it quite regularly, actually, in that capacity. I still drink black coffee. I kind of learned to drink coffee when I was in college for the only benefit of keeping me awake while I was studying. So I kind of just stuck with that long term. I will tell you what I love now is full fat yogurt as compared to low fat yogurt that I used to eat. This is actually one of my favorite. If I want to treat myself, this is what I will often turn to with some blueberries and maybe just a little hint of vanilla or some stevia just to liven it up a little bit. But that is a true treat for me. And I have always eaten yogurt, but I would always go for the low-fat brands, which are loaded with sugar or artificial sweetener. In fact, they, if it's a sugary brand, they have as much sugar sometimes as a Hershey chocolate bar. So you're not gaining anything by having those.
Yeah, and then this is full fat, and sometimes it can be a little hard to find it. Some of the markets don't always have the full fat version. And I will say that I don't eat this as often as you do.
Yeah.
It does have a few more carbs in it, so I kind of save it as a treat for myself, and especially on a day when I kind of plan for it, when I've kept my carbs really low up to that point, I'll have a little bit, after dinner or whatever. So.
Yeah. So definitely a little bit more latitude when you're low carb rather than keto for that. Something that keto can certainly benefit from, though, is MCT oil, which is something that we really weren't even introduced to before we started low carb keto. And MCT oil is a unique oil, so you can add this to coffee. You can make a salad dressing with it. And the unique thing about MCT oil is that it is not metabolized in the same way as other fats, so it will take a more direct trip to your liver where it can be converted into ketones.
Right, and this is, for a keto coffee, this is kind of like the main ingredient. You put this with a little bit of cream, maybe even some butter, whip it up. It's very creamy. I've even just taken it as a tablespoon, now, if you would have told me that 5 years ago, that I would just take a tablespoon of oil, and be happy about it, I would have told you were nuts.
Yeah,
so.
keto has totally changed our way of going about food consumption.
Yeah.
And another thing, I mentioned I was a sugaraholic, right? So, and we are in central Pennsylvania, which is where Hershey, Pennsylvania is, home of the chocolate bar. Milk chocolate, that was to die for forever. And now, honestly, I prefer dark chocolate, actually a higher percentage cacao than milk chocolate, which is bizarre to me. I would have never thought that coming from, how bad of a sugar addict I was. One thing I will say about higher cacao chocolate, you want to get up into the 70% or higher cacao to start getting the health benefits, but you got to really read the ingredients. A lot of them will still put sugar as one of the top 3 ingredients. My 0, 1, 2, 3 strategy, that's the rule for sugar. If it's one of the top 3 ingredients, don't eat it. So you'll find 70% cacao chocolate, but sugar might be the second ingredient.
And I have to say that, the Hershey's Special Dark used to be like, for me, that was to die for. I loved that it was kind of a semi-sweet chocolate. It was darker, so I kept telling myself it was healthy to eat, right?
Yeah,
but yeah, it's just loaded with sugar.
Oh, yeah.
And we should also throw in, but besides Hershey, there's also Wilbur Chocolate Company.
Yes.
And they are they are really, really yummy too. Loaded with sugar, can't have it anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Central Pennsylvania is not the great place for.
The interesting thing is though that we talked about how going low carb, going keto changed your taste.
Yeah.
This stuff, when we were eating sugar, this stuff would have been so bitter we wouldn't have been able to stomach it. It now tastes sweet to us when we have it.
Which is why you have to be careful having this in your house. It will be as addictive to you if you've been on low carb or keto for a while. This just little bit of sweetness can be a diet derailer if you're on a weight loss. So you have to even watch with that, I would say.
Yeah, and we'll just for convenience sake, if we're traveling, we might throw some of that in a bag so that we've got something to have on a plane or in an airport or something.
Yeah, just a little treat.
Yeah.
So there you go. Your tastes definitely change when you get rid of overloading your taste buds and your brain with sugar. These are some things that we have found that we love now that we would have never eaten before we changed our diets. What about you? Do you love one of these things here, or did we leave something out that you guys really enjoy? Go ahead and share that with us in the comments. We'd love to see what you have to say. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to our channel, and we will be back with a new video soon.
See you next time.